So this is a picture of our drawing solid 8. May look a little more complicated than it actually is. The drawing itself is not bad, but I do want to introduce a new feature here, and that's how to create a new plane. So when we draw this bow tie looking thing, that's really not that big of an issue. It starts with a circle, a 1.5-inch radius circle. We have another one down here where our centers are 5.25 or 5 1/4 apart. If you notice, the center line here aligns with the top edge of this, and the center line of this one aligns with the bottom edge of this. So that means our our thickness here of this piece would be 1.5 inches thick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to create a plane, a new plane, to draw this little extrusion coming out the side here. I'm going to show you how to create a new plane that we can draw on to create that. So we're going to start with our origin being right in the center here. We're going to create 2 circles, 1.5-inch radius or a 3-inch diameter here. And we're going to go over and draw another 3-inch diameter here. Our distance is going to be 5.25 between them, and vertically it will be 1.5 vertical distances from the center here to the center here. Okay, so we'll start with that. All right, so let's start a new drawing start a new part in SolidWorks. And I'm going to start on the front plane. Turn that front plane towards us. Start with a sketch. Start with a circle. And start it at the origin. And I'm going to draw another circle up here somewhere. Let me dimension these things. Diameter on this should be 3. Diameter on this should be 3. The distance from center point to center point this direction should be 5.25. And from here to here, this direction should be 1.5. Okay. Then I'm just going to draw a line from the top edge of this circle here. And if I put my mouse on the edge, you notice it gives me a little yellow dot at the top edge there. I'm going to come straight over to that orange dot there. Hit escape to break out of that line. Get the line again. This time I'm going to come from this bottom straight across to that quadrant point. And escape again. And now I'm going to trim off the inside here and the inside here. So I'm going to get the trim, select trim to closest, and then get rid of this little piece and this little piece. Good, so we have this solid now. Perfect. Done with that. I'm going to exit the sketch, and I am going to make sure that it's highlighted again. Feature, extrude, and I believe it's a 1-inch extrusion. Yes. So this is going to be 1 inch. And check mark. Very good. Now we're going to go back to this face and we're going to drill those holes using the same center point. Those holes are a 1 1/4 diameter. 1 1/4 diameter. So let's go sketch, circle. I hang out on the edge here for a second and then come in here. There's my center point. Just to double check, I always like going out to the edge to make sure that I really am at the center point. Do the same thing over here. And done with that, so this should be 1.25 diameter. And this one should also be 1.25. Good. And we'll be done with that. Exit the sketch, highlight it again, and feature, there's a cut, and we're going to go through all. There's that cut through all. Now, what I'd like to do is I want to create, there's that little extrusion that comes off the side here. What I'd like to do is create a plane perpendicular to this face right here, parallel to, let's see, this right plane. But I don't want it here. If I click on this right plane, I don't want the plane here. I want it to be over where that little bump sticks out the side. So I'm going to show you the picture again so I can explain it. Okay, so on our picture, remember we started as this point is our origin. So our right plane is right through the center here. What I'd like to do is create a new plane parallel to that right side plane, but at a distance of 2¼ inches back this way, so that I can draw this 3/4 inch radius or 1½ inch diameter half circle on the edge, and then extrude it back. Okay, so we're going to create a new plane right through the middle here, parallel to the right plane that runs through the center of this circle at a distance of, offset distance of 2 1/4. Okay, so to make a parallel plane to the plane that already exists, what we're going to do is I'm going to highlight this plane, and I'm going to hold the control key down, and I'm going to click on it again. When I hold the control key down and click on that plane, it gives me some information here. What I want to do is I want to create another plane, parallel plane, that is 2.25 inches away, offset 2. So I'm going to change this distance right here to 2.25. Notice mine when I hit enter, it sent it off this direction. So I'm just going to come back and flip my offset this direction by clicking on this little flip offset. So what that does now is that creates a plane for me right where I want to draw that little blip that comes off the side. Okay, so I'm done with that. And what I want to do is I want to go, if I click on this view orientation, I can go normal to right here. I want to go normal to that. Now this line right here represents that top edge, the kind of that horizontal line that goes from the center of this first circle, or the top of this first circle, over to the center of the back circle. So that's actually the top of my circle that I want to go around like this. So here's how I'm going to draw that half circle. So I'm going to create a sketch of a circle, and I'm just going to draw it, making sure that my center point is on this line. Okay, so I'm just going to drag out a circle like that. Done. And I know the size of that circle has got to be a 1.5 diameter. Good. And I also want to make sure, let me check mark when I'm done. I also want to make sure that the top of this circle and the top corner of this line right here, that those two are coincident. Those are touching. So I'm going to click on this circle. I'm going to hold the control key down, and I'm going to go right to this point right here. I'm going to click on that point. I'm not quite sure if it got it for me. Let me try this again. Let me check mark. Let me hold the control key down, click on that point and this circle. Okay, so it gives me the arc and the vertex. And I want to say that I want those coincident. So I put them as coincident. Notice it dropped my circle down so that the top point and the top of the circle are touching each other. Perfect. So I'm done with that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line right from the top of my circle here down to the bottom of my circle. Do the escape. And I'm going to trim off this back half of the circle. So I'm going to go trim to closest, and get rid of this half of the circle. Okay. Now you can see what that gave me. That gave me that half circle right there. The top edge is coincident with the top edge. The bottom edge is coincident with the bottom edge. And now I'm going to extrude this back so I can exit the sketch. Oh, what does it say? The sketch is over defined. Consider deleting some over defined dimensions. All right, where did I over define it? I wonder. Let me see what I did. Edit the sketch. I deleted out the bottom coincident one because I already have this one coincident to the top. The top of the circle is coincident to this top edge, and I gave it a dimension. That should be enough. For some reason, this bottom one was also coincident, so I'm hoping that that will, yeah, because it says here that the sketch is no longer over defined. So let me I exit in the sketch now. Good. I'm going to highlight it here and go extrude boss. And I want it to extrude the other direction. So I'm going to click on this little button right here, and that will flip the direction. And the distance for this is 0.75. And check mark. So there it is. There's that little piece that goes through. I do need to put in some fillets though. There is a 1-inch fillet on this corner and this corner, and a 1/8 fillet on this corner and this corner. All right, so let's do those. Let's put in a fillet. So I'm going to go fillet. Make sure that full preview is turned on just so we can see it. So the first one is going to be a 1-inch. So I put that in here, 1 inch. I'm going to click on this line. Wonder if when I do this, it's the same thing. I don't want that. Interesting. Let me cancel this first. Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to take this line right here. Remember, this extrude boss was this thing right here. I'm going to take this and I'm going to pull it up over top of that. So I'm going to hide it is what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to go fillet with a 1-inch fillet. And I'm going to fillet this. And I'm going to fillet this. Okay. And check mark. Now those are rounded over. Now I'm going to grab this line and I'm going to pull it back over top of it, and it puts that back in. You see what that did? It hid this piece for a second while I put in this, and then I turned it back on, and now it's back. So let me do a fillet now at 0.125 or 1/8 of an inch, and I'm going to fillet this piece here that corner there, in this corner here, check mark. Now those are filleted. Let's save this. This is solid 8. Let's create a new drawing, an A4 landscape. We're going to double click on our solid 8. Make sure the front view is highlighted. We'll go front, top, side, isometric, check mark. Pull the isometric so that it's on the page. And we'll put in our hidden lines and center lines. So hidden lines visible. Click on the isometric view. And let's put in our center lines as well. I'm going to go to annotation to center mark. And I'm going to click on these big circles. Then I'm going to check mark. I'm going to go to center line. And I want a center line running from here to here. Through. Same thing from here to here. That tangent line gets right in the same location, so it's kind of an issue there. We have a center line that should be in from here to here. And from here to here. This one concerns me. That's not the right, I didn't choose the right line there. Because this center line should be right even with this line here. There we go. I need to delete this line. Okay. So there is our final product. And we can right mouse click, edit sheet format, put in our name, highlight it, make sure your name fits nicely. Edit sheet to get out of that. There's your completed drawing. Make sure when you save this, you do it twice, right? We go save it as solid 8 drawing, and then do a save as again, save it as solid 8 a PDF, and then that's what you're going to submit into Canvas for your assignment. Okay. I hope that helped.